This week our guest is Jon Mosey. He's a fantastic Piedmont-style blues guitarist from the Kent area. Do stick around. Hey, welcome to Charlie's Open Mic. My name is Charlie Mossbrook. On this week's show, we're going to catch up with Jon Mosey. He's a finger picker, a Piedmont blues-style guitarist from the Kent area. We're going to talk to him a lot about what he's doing as a music educator, as a performer, and we're going to listen to him play a little music, so let's do that right now.
Sun outside my window, it's shining cold and gray. Should have packed my things to go and left out yesterday, and I ain't sure what waits outside that door. Ain't nothing here to keep me anymore, and I ain't one to run from things, you know. But goodbye's looking better than hello. The sun goes down behind me, the rain falls on the road. I couldn't see me staying, I didn't want to go. Those used to be's don't matter much no more. What's coming, I don't care, I just don't know. And I ain't thinking maybe sometime, no. But goodbye's looking better than hello. No, and I don't want to keep you by my side. I guess it's best to keep you in my mind. Well, this restless feeling tells me I should go, and goodbye's looking better than hello. No promise of tomorrow, no regrets for yesterday. There ain't nothing that means nothing that we didn't say, and I won't ask you for a kiss goodbye. I won't turn around to see you cry. Maybe it ain't right to up and go, but goodbye's looking better than hello. No, and I don't want to keep you by my side. I guess it's best to keep you in my mind. But this restless feeling tells me I should go. But goodbye's looking better than hello. Tail lights on the highway is all I leave behind. All them things we didn't say don't matter, never mind. The road ahead is all that I got now. No wonder the why or if or how. I guess that's everything, I guess I'll go. And goodbye's looking better than hello. Yeah, I guess that's everything, I guess I'll go.
Hey, on today's show, we have Jon Mosey. He is a guitarist, mandolin player, banjo player, probably plays a half dozen or a few dozen more instruments that I don't even know about. He is a music educator down in the Kent area. He is one heck of a guitar player, and we're going to talk to him a little bit more about his guitar playing and his teaching. But I'm going to let him fill us in on a little bit of his background and how he got started as a performing musician. Hey, Jon. Welcome to the show.
Charlie. Thank you. How you doing?
I'm well. We went out to the beach this morning, took some photos. So how'd you get started as a performer?
I don't know. I just always was attracted to music, and then started playing when I was 12, and just kind of one thing led to another, and tried a couple of straight jobs. They didn't work out very well, so ended up just sort of being a guitar player and singer just because that's what I always wanted to do. And then the teaching came along. I'd run into people that say, "Hey, can you show me how to do that?" and this and that. So I eventually started teaching, which was weird because I'm entirely self-taught. So I don't know, what do you do? How do you teach somebody? Well, you lock yourself in your bedroom for about 12 years with a record player and a guitar.
Did you grow up in the Kent area?
I grew up in Cuyahoga Falls.
You've got a DVD set where you teach Piedmont blues.
The plan was to do an entire video, entire teaching series. But the guy whose idea it was bagged on me. He just pulled out like right in the middle of it and sort of left me with one.
Okay.
So he was a video guy and everything. So, but anyway, so there is one on, just an introductory Piedmont blues where it teaches you to go like this. And if you can do that and carry on an intelligent conversation, you're about halfway there already.
Piedmont blues, can you explain what that is to people, maybe a little more in depth?
Well, it started probably in mid-1910s, 1920s, something like that. What it was is it developed over on the East Coast from about Virginia down into Georgia, Florida. And it was a bunch of guitar players, street singers that were trying to imitate ragtime piano players. So they'd get a bass line going, and it's usually just an alternating bass like that. And then they do like simple licks over it. Just stuff like that. So it gave sort of that ragtime piano sound, and it was a really cool style. I first heard it back in 1974.
Okay.
And just as soon as I heard it, it's like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
Now, in that area, in the Kent, Cuyahoga Falls, Ravenna area, there have been a handful of guys playing that style. Andy Cohen and Raleigh Brown come to mind right away, and then Eric Noden. He's a little bit younger, but he's been doing it. Is there anything that you could point to that would be a reason for having that collection of players, including yourself, who play it really well?
I don't know. They say I first heard it in '74, and then I started finding out about these other guys that played it. And, of course, one of the first I ran into was Andy Cohen and Jack D'Alessandro, Joe LaRose, Raleigh Brown, like I say, and Alex Bevan. He played a lot of that kind of stuff then. Jim Ballard. In fact, Jim Ballard was one that first turned me on to it. And, there was just a bunch of them. I don't know why everybody in that area ended up really digging that. But I suspect it's probably Cohen's fault, because most of them are. He can't deny it anyway. So
you've been teaching quite a bit. And we are in this world of pandemic. I know my wife's a teacher. She's about to start teaching again. And so we've turned this house into a TV studio where we did a music show up here, and then in the other room's a classroom. How have you adapted teaching music online?
Well, I'm doing all my lessons through Skype now, because as soon as the pandemic hit, Woodsy shut down the studios because they're such small rooms, and it just wasn't safe. So they've, we've been talking about if there's any safe way that we can open them back up again, but there's really not at this point. So everybody's doing online lessons, either Skype or Zoom. I'm using Skype, and we're still doing it through the store. I teach at the store in Kent, in downtown Kent, and also at Woodsy's out in Medina. And it was quite an adjustment, because honestly, I didn't even have a computer with a camera. I had to go out and buy a new laptop just for that,
Hmm.
which was long overdue, but so it was weird. And then I had to call up a friend of mine and said, "Hey, could you like teach me how to do this in a day?" And she did. Thank you, Kara Jones, for doing that. But yeah, she told me how to do the Skype lessons and everything. And a lot of my students didn't want to do it. Some of them had lost their jobs. Some of them just didn't want to learn the new technology. And but I did manage to keep some. But that's just one more thing that this pandemic has really,
Hmm.
really hurt is the teaching, because I lost about 3/4 of my students
Wow.
and all of my gigs. So now I'm just a burden on society.
Now, speaking of Woodsies, to those people watching who aren't familiar with Woodsies, Woodsies is a music store in Kent that's been there for I don't even know how long. I know it's been 60s at least.
I think probably late 60s, like 68, 70, somewhere right in there. I'm big on buy local.
Hmm.
Because the big chains, just half the time they don't know what the hell they're selling.
Hmm.
And the local stores, they know the local musicians, they know the products they're selling. And Woodsies has always been good about that. Even before I was teaching there, that was where I went. And now, like you say, there are very, very few independent stores around. Down here in the Akron, Kent, Medina, Canton area, there's maybe 3.
And 2 of those 3 are Woodsies.
Yeah, yeah.
So are they hanging in? Are they taking care of business?
Yeah, they seem to be doing okay. They got hit really hard, with the loss of, the lesson income and the loss of the, just the product sales.
Hmm.
And, plus they do a lot of sound for festivals and things like that. Of course, they lost all of that. So they got hit really, really hard, but I think they're doing okay. I haven't heard anything really bad. I know they're like everybody else, they're hurting.
So over the years, you've really carved out your niche as a solo acoustic guy, and then you've got your trio, the Jon Mosey Trio, which is more of an electric blues project.
Yeah, it's like a roots rock thing, all original stuff, and
Hmm.
it's a cool band. It's good. The guys in it, TB Player and Eric Diaz, they're top-notch musicians, and they're just good guys. They're good friends, and we just sort of put it together. And I was talking to him, said, "Hey, I got all these tunes that I need a band for," and there we go. All of a sudden, I'm in another band.
Now I've heard you say in the past that what you would prefer to do and what you always wanted to do is just to be the best side guy you could possibly be.
That's all I want to do, is just like, I want to be the guy that is kind of back in the corner with a million instruments around me, and I just get to play all of them.
Hmm.
And I never wanted to be a writer, never wanted to be a singer, never wanted to be a band leader or front guy or anything. I just want to be the side man. But that didn't work out so well. I was in a band with Kelly Fleming,
Okay.
and that was cool because Kelly's such a great singer. But still, I ended up singing about half the time.
Hmm.
And that's kind of always what happens. I put something together, and then either nobody else wants to sing or nobody else can sing, or everybody's like, "Oh, well, you ought to sing too." And so I never get to be the side man.
Probably pretty hard to be a sideman these days.
Yeah. We did a couple of albums with Charlie Wiener
Uh-huh.
and the Icons of Perseverance, of which I am one. And that one, those 2 albums and the performances we did, yeah, that was like, all I did was sit in the back and play. I played acoustic guitar, electric guitar, mandolin, banjo, lap steel, and that might be all. But that was cool. That was like, that's what I want to do.
If you appreciate this content, please hit the subscription link down below. Please ring the bell for notifications for upcoming episodes. You can always visit us at charliesopenmic.com and find our Patreon link to help support the show. This is an Eastman mandolin. I bought it a few years ago. I traded in a Stratocaster to get this thing. I really looked forward to playing this. Well, earlier this year, back in February, I pulled it out of its case, and two of the teeth here that hold the strings to the mandolin, they broke off, so the strings wouldn't hold on, and I couldn't really play the mandolin. So I called the company, and they said, "Oh yeah, well we've got to order it from Asia, but we'll get it in and we'll ship it right out to you." Well, then the pandemic hit, so my order got delayed and delayed and delayed, and I got a hold of them later on in the year, and they said, "Oh, we're sorry." And I understood. I was patient, so I let them know, "Okay, that's fine. Send it right out." And they said, "Okay, we'll do that." So they did, and then the order never came. So early this month, I called them again, and I said, "Hey, can you check on the status of that?" And this week it arrived. So I was able to put this on here and sit down and start playing it. And I'm really looking forward to digging in and improving my skills as a mandolin player. It's not my first instrument. It's really just a hobby thing. And with that, I wanted to talk about hobbies in general. Since the pandemic began, one thing that I've really found a lot of joy in is photography. And that's a result of doing this show, because my original cameraman, Daryl, is taking care of his mom, so he's no longer able to do the camera work for the show, which meant I had to do it. So I, instead of shooting the whole show on an iPad, as I had been doing for the first couple weeks of the pandemic, I invested in some camera gear, and I've become quite familiar with the camera, and really found a lot of enjoyment in going out and just taking pictures. A lot of nature photography and flowers and just odd things that I see here and there. I've been trying to include some of that photography in the opening sequence of the show. If you dig that, let me know. But what I really want you to do is down below in the comments, let me know what kind of hobbies you've taken up since this pandemic began, and the different things that you're doing to enrich your life and to get through all of this. And with that, I'm going to use the mandolin to sing a song that I wrote when I had my spinal cord injury, and I was learning to deal with a new disability, and trying to fill some of my time in and improve my life. And this song is called Little by Little. And at that time, it started off slowly because it began with a bottle of wine. And little by little, you let me go, and soon I will never know but what you've been up to and how you spend your time and who you wake up with and who makes you shine. This could take some time on letting you go, and a little too much wine and the people I know. They're getting me through this, they're getting over you, they're getting me back, well, to the me I once knew. That I once knew. And soon I'll be nothing but a memory smile. The last thing we said was I'll see you in a while, but it never really happens as we both go our separate ways. We kinda lose touch and run out of things to say, This could take some time letting you go, and a little too much wine and the people I know. They're getting me through this, they're getting over you, they're getting me back to the me that I once knew. That I once knew. Hey, thank you for joining us on Charlie's Open Mic this week, and thank you to Jon Mosey for dropping in and doing a little Zoom interview and sharing a little music. As always, you can hit that subscription link down below if you appreciate this content. Please ring the bell for notifications of upcoming episodes. Always comment down below, press like, let us know what you're thinking, and you can visit us at charliesopenmic.com and find our Patreon link to help support the show. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.